I think the most likely scenario by far where the Russians use nuclear weapons is where they're losing. And in 2022, when the Ukrainians were doing very well and the Russians were surrendering territory in Ukraine, I think that was a very dangerous time. Because if the Russians were to lose in Ukraine, I believe they would use nuclear weapons.
And let me just add, at this point, we talked about this in the interview that we did 2.5 years ago, and I'm going to link it somewhere up here, but continue.
Okay. Yeah. But that was the scenario to worry about, because the Russians view what's going on in Ukraine as an existential threat. Many people in the West refuse to accept the argument that the Russians view this as an existential threat or NATO expansion into Ukraine is an existential threat. But you want to understand, the Russians think it's an existential threat, and it's what they think that matters. So they think it's an existential threat. If they're losing in Ukraine, that's when we really have to be worried about nuclear use and the possibility of escalation up the nuclear ladder.